Hello, how are you? That's good to hear. Welcome to the video game store. Today I'll be showing you all the video games you requested to see. And like you also asked, I'll be giving you a brief summary of each game. And by looking at the selection of video games, it looks like you're a big Nintendo fan, and that's awesome. Because I'm also a big Nintendo fan as well. You can probably tell by the shirt I'm wearing. So let's get started by looking at all the video games. So the first game you requested to see is Super Mario World. This game was released in August of 1991. This is a 2D platform game for the Super Nintendo. In this game, you play as Mario and Luigi, and you're on a quest to save Dinosaur Land from Bowser. There are 7 different worlds in the main part of the game you go through to beat the game, and you can also unlock a bonus world after you beat the game. This game also has the first appearance of Yoshi. This is Mario's dinosaur sidekick. And looking back at these old video games, it reminds me of how I first got into video games. So when I was around 4 or 5, I ended up going to school, but I was sick, so I ended up getting sent home. And I was pretty upset that I ended up getting sent home. So my dad ended up setting up the Super Nintendo, and he put in the game Super Mario Bros. 3. And ever since that day, I've been a big video game fan. And looking back at the Super Nintendo games, Super Mario World was probably my favorite game for the system, so I would highly recommend that you purchase this game. So the next game we have here is Pokemon Stadium. This game was released in March of 2000. This is a 3D strategy game for the Nintendo 64. In this game, like majority of Pokemon games, your goal is to battle Pokemon and come out on top. And you usually try to look for type advantages to defeat the opposing Pokemon. The main things to do in the game are to battle in the 4 stadium cups. You can challenge the Gym Leader Castle, where you battle all 8 gym leaders and the Elite 4. And you can even play mini games on this game, which surprisingly were my favorite part of this game growing up. I used to play the mini games all the time with my brother and sister. So I would highly recommend this game if you are a Pokemon fan. The next game we have is Mario Party 7. This game was released in November of 2005. This is a game for the Nintendo GameCube. And basically what this game is a board game. You have 4 players, and during each round every player rolls a dice, and what you roll is how many steps you take. And you can land on different spaces, such as blue spaces where you gain coins, red spaces where you lose coins. You can also land on event spaces where random events will happen depending on which board you're on. There's also Bowser spaces, which you don't want to land on those. And there are item spaces as well, which you can use the items you get on the board. And there's also some other spaces as well, but I just wanted you to know the main spaces on the board. After each round, you end up playing a mini game, and the mini games can be played all against each other, 2 versus 2 or 1 versus 3, and that's determined based on which spaces you land on during the turn. So if all 4 of you were to land on a blue space, it would be everyone against each other. But if 2 of you were to land on a blue space and 2 of you were to land on a red space, then it would be a 2 versus 2 battle. And the minigames, in my opinion, are the best part of the game. It's important to win some of the minigames because you end up earning coins for winning the minigames, and you need those coins to purchase stars on the board. And there's 1 star space that moves around on the board throughout the game. And if you have enough coins, you can buy the star. And the person with the most stars at the end of the game ends up winning the game. So it's super important to collect stars. But I would highly recommend this game if you are into multiplayer games. The next game we have is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. This game was released in November of 2006. This is an action-adventure game for the Nintendo Wii. In this game, Link can take the form of a Hylian or a wolf, and he also travels with a character named Midna. And I would highly recommend this game if you're into puzzle solving, exploration, and combat. And personally, this is one of my favorite Zelda games. The next game we have is Animal Crossing New Leaf. This game was released in June of 2013. This is a life simulation game for the Nintendo 3DS. And in this game, you take the role of mayor of the town. And this is more of a leisurely type of game where you can play at your own pace. And you can do many different things in the game, such as go fishing, bug catching, diving. You can play island mini games when you travel to an island. You can go shopping and collect bells, which is the currency of the game. You can also style your character. You can model and style your house, and you can build structures in the town as well, such as bridges. So there's just many different things you can do in the game. I would highly recommend that you purchase this game if you're into any leisurely type of game. The next game we have is Splatoon. This game was released in May of 2015. This is a third-person shooter game for the Nintendo Wii U. In this game, you play as characters called Inklings. They can be both in the human form and squid form. The main bulk of the game is in the online multiplayer, where you can build up your rank. You play battles of 4-on-4, and you're given a map, and your goal is to get your team's colored ink on the surface of the map. You want to have the most of your colored ink on the map to win the game. The main ways to get your colored ink on the battlefield is to use weapons such as a roller, gun, brush, or bucket. And you can also sometimes swim as your squid form to get ink on the map as well. If you're not a big fan of the online multiplayer, there's also an option to play single player campaign mode. But like I said, the main bulk of the game is definitely in the online multiplayer. The final game we have is Paper Mario Color Splash. This game was released in October of 2016. This is an action-adventure game for the Nintendo Wii U. This game takes place on Prism Island, and you play as Paper Mario, and you travel with a paint bucket named Huey. Huey is the paint fountain guardian, and in the game, the 6 paint color stars end up getting stolen. So you're on a quest as Mario and Huey to retrieve those 6 paint stars for the fountain in order to provide color back to the paper world. This is a very fun game if you're into action adventure type of games and single player. So those were all the games that you requested to see. Are you interested in purchasing any of the games today? Okay, so you'd like to purchase all the games. That's great. Let me just scan those games for you then. So here are all your games. Thank you for visiting the video game store. I hope you enjoy your new video games. I hope to see you in here again as well. And have a great day.